Hello everyone, and welcome. If you've made it here, it's probably because you, or someone you love, has experienced something both painful and frustrating: leg cramps. Those sudden, sharp contractions that seem to come out of nowhere. They wake you up in the middle of the night. They make your legs feel like they've been twisted and knotted. You lie there, clenching your teeth, holding your breath, waiting for it to stop. And sometimes it doesn't stop quickly enough. But what if I told you that there's something you can do, something simple, something natural that might just stop these cramps from ever happening again? Before we jump in, I'd like to kindly ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're passionate about living healthier, aging with strength, and learning from science-backed insights, this is where you'll want to be. And if you know someone who's been struggling with leg cramps, especially an older adult, go ahead and share this video. You could be giving them one of the best nights of sleep they've had in a long time. Now, let's talk about the issue. For millions of older Americans, muscle cramps, especially in the legs, are an everyday ordeal. They sneak up during a walk, a nap, or while relaxing in a chair, but most often they strike in the dead of night. It's not just the pain that makes them unbearable, it's the unpredictability, the feeling of helplessness, the way they interrupt your sleep and your peace. And yet, in most cases, these cramps are preventable. There's a persistent myth that leg cramps are just a normal part of aging, that as we get older, our muscles simply give out and we have to accept it. But that's not true. While age does affect our body's ability to manage hydration, circulation, and muscle recovery, the food we eat has a far more powerful effect than we realize. Certain nutrients, particularly those involved in muscle function and nerve signaling, can make the difference between a restful night and a night spent writhing in pain. And the good news is, these nutrients aren't locked away in exotic supplements or expensive treatments. They're right there, in the food aisle, in your local grocery store, and in your kitchen. Over the next few chapters, I'm going to share with you 3 of the best foods to prevent leg cramps. These are natural, accessible, and supported by extensive research. I'll also share real-life stories, people who've made small changes to their diets and seen major improvements in their mobility, strength, and sleep quality. But here's a little teaser. One of these foods is something you've probably eaten all your life. Something so basic and versatile, yet so misunderstood in the realm of health, nutrition. It's eggs. Yes, good old-fashioned eggs, rich in protein, vitamins, and healthy fats. Eggs can help rebuild and protect aging muscles, and they play a surprising role in reducing muscle cramps. We'll talk more about that in the next chapter. But just know this, cramps don't have to control your life. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, you can take control of your muscle health, your circulation, and your energy with food. But why does this matter so much? Because muscle cramps are more than a physical inconvenience. For many older adults, they become a source of fear, a reason to avoid walks, a reason to skip the grocery store, a reason to stop gardening, playing with grandkids, or doing the things that bring joy. Chronic cramps steal independence, they erode confidence, they disrupt sleep. And sleep, as we know, is the body's greatest recovery tool. Unfortunately, what we're often told in response is to just stretch more or stay hydrated. And while those things can help, they often miss the core issue, a lack of muscle-supporting nutrients in the diet. That's where we're heading in this video. We're going to dive into the exact foods that supply those missing nutrients, the ones that make your muscles more resilient, that improve nerve communication, that enhance blood flow. And yes, foods that help you sleep more peacefully at night without waking up in pain. But let's be clear about one thing. This isn't about fads. This isn't about cutting out half the things you love or following some unreasonably restrictive diet. This is about understanding what your body needs, why it needs it, and how to get it through real food. You'll notice that we're focusing on foods that are practical, affordable, and easy to prepare. Because it's not helpful if I tell you to eat something that's only available in a specialty market in Los Angeles or costs more than your weekly grocery budget. No, this is about real nutrition for real people. I've worked with older adults for years, and one thing I've learned is that simplicity wins. When the advice is clear, the results are real. And that's my promise to you. No gimmicks, no trendy health buzzwords, just honest, proven guidance that you can use starting today. So if you're ready to learn what those 3 foods are, how they work inside your body, and how to make them part of your daily life, stay tuned. Because in the next chapter, we'll start with the first one, eggs, and explore why this humble food might just be the secret weapon against leg cramps. You might be surprised by how much good a single egg can do. And remember, aging is not a weakness, it's a new season of life. And with the right tools, you can move through it with strength, confidence, and grace. Let's make those tools accessible, understandable, and above all effective. See you in the next part. Let's talk about one of the most underestimated, affordable, and powerful foods available in almost every household, the egg. Now I know what you might be thinking. Eggs, really? Aren't those just breakfast basics? Something we scramble or fry in the morning without giving it much thought? But when we break it down I mean literally, and nutritional eggs are far more than just a staple on the breakfast table. They are a compact nutritional powerhouse. Especially for older adults struggling with leg cramps, muscle weakness, and declining mobility. First, let's look at why cramps happen in the first place. Your muscles rely on constant communication with your nervous system. Every movement, no matter how small, requires a signal to be sent from your brain, through your spinal cord, into the nerves that reach every inch of your body. Those signals depend on a delicate balance of minerals, amino acids, and neurotransmitters. When something is off, whether it's a deficiency in electrolytes, poor circulation, or damage to muscle fibers, the result is often a misfired signal. That misfire becomes a spasm, and that spasm becomes a cramp. Now here's the key. Eggs help restore balance to that entire system. They contain high-quality protein, and not just any protein, complete protein. That means all the essential amino acids your body cannot produce on its own are present in the right ratios. These amino acids are used to rebuild muscle tissue, repair damage from daily activity, and support the structure of the muscles themselves. When you're older, your body's ability to process and utilize protein declines. You might eat enough protein by quantity, but your body isn't absorbing or using it efficiently. That's where bioavailability comes in. Eggs have one of the highest protein bioavailability scores of any food, meaning your body actually uses what's inside them. But it doesn't stop at protein. Eggs are also rich in a nutrient called choline, which is essential for nerve signaling. Choline supports the production of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that plays a key role in muscle movement and coordination. Without enough choline, those signals from your brain to your muscles get weaker, less efficient, and prone to errors. The kind of errors that lead to, you guessed it, cramps. Let's go deeper. Eggs also contain vitamin D, which supports muscle function and bone strength. For seniors who spend less time in direct sunlight, vitamin D deficiencies are incredibly common and often go unnoticed. This deficiency weakens the muscles and increases the risk of spasms, falls, and even fractures. There's also selenium, which plays a critical role in reducing inflammation and protecting muscles from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress can break down muscle fibers faster than they're repaired, especially in older adults. When you eat eggs regularly, you're giving your body the tools it needs to keep up with the natural wear and tear of life. Now, let's bring in a real example. I'd like you to meet Sharon. She's 74 years old, lives in Michigan, and used to suffer from severe leg cramps almost every night. Her sleep was interrupted constantly, and by the time morning came, she felt like she hadn't rested at all. She tried hydration, stretching, even magnesium supplements. Some helped a little, most didn't. Then her daughter, a registered dietitian, suggested something incredibly simple. Start eating 2 eggs every morning. Within the first week, Sharon noticed that the cramps had reduced. Within 3 weeks. They were gone completely. She didn't make any other major changes to her routine. No new pills, no new exercise programs. Just a shift in breakfast from toast and jelly to scrambled eggs with a sprinkle of spinach. It sounds small, doesn't it? But sometimes it's the small things, repeated consistently, that bring about the biggest change. This story isn't unique to Sharon. Many older Americans, especially those on fixed incomes or managing multiple health conditions, need solutions that are both affordable and effective. Eggs offer that sweet spot. Now let's clear up a concern that always comes up when we talk about eggs. Cholesterol. Yes, eggs contain cholesterol, and for many years that made people wary of eating them regularly. But modern research, including comprehensive reviews published in major nutrition journals, shows that dietary cholesterol from eggs has minimal impact on blood cholesterol for most people. In fact, eggs raise the good cholesterol and do not significantly affect the bad cholesterol LDL in the way once believed. For older adults especially, the benefits of eggs far outweigh the outdated concerns. Unless advised otherwise by a personal doctor due to a very specific medical condition, most people can safely enjoy eggs as part of a heart-healthy diet. Let's also consider preparation. A lot of people avoid eggs because they think it takes too long to cook them, or they're bored with the taste. But eggs are one of the most versatile foods in the kitchen. Scrambled, boiled, poached, baked, or turned into a veggie-packed omelet. There's no shortage of ways to enjoy them. For someone living alone, a hard-boiled egg is a quick snack that doesn't require turning on the stove. For couples, a breakfast egg casserole can last for several meals. You don't need to be a chef to make eggs delicious and satisfying. And here's a tip for enhancing their benefits. Pair your eggs with foods that are also high in magnesium and potassium, like leafy greens or avocados. This combination gives your muscles even more support, reducing cramp risk and boosting recovery. What's most important is to create a habit. Eating eggs occasionally won't bring lasting results, but making them part of a daily or near-daily routine, especially during breakfast, can change your entire muscle health landscape. The science backs it, the stories back it, and once you try it consistently, your body will back it too. So as we close this chapter, let's remember, a single egg might not seem like much, But when it's packed with the right nutrients and paired with consistency, it becomes more than a food. It becomes fuel. Fuel for stronger legs, for deeper sleep, for walks without pain, for stairs without fear, for mornings without cramps. Coming up next, we'll explore the second powerful food banazand, why their unique nutrient profile makes them a natural antidote to nighttime muscle cramps. If you've ever tossed a banana into your smoothie without realizing the real impact it can have, you're about to see it in a whole new light. So stick around. And remember, strong muscles are built from the inside out, and it starts with what you put on your plate. If you've ever watched a tennis match or a marathon, you've probably seen an athlete reach for a banana during a break. It might seem like a quick snack, nothing special, but there's more to that yellow fruit than meets the eye, especially when it comes to leg cramps and muscle performance. For seniors, leg cramps can turn peaceful nights into sleepless battles. They can turn ordinary walks into painful struggles. And while eggs build muscle strength through protein and nerve support, bananas bring something just as important to the table: electrolyte balance. Let's break it down. Muscle cramps are often caused by a lack of certain minerals in your bloodstream, specifically potassium, magnesium, and calcium. These minerals are electrolytes. They carry electrical charges that your body uses to contract and relax muscles. If you're low on one or more of them, your muscles can misfire and seize up. That misfire is what creates the intense, sudden pain of a cramp. Now, here's where bananas come in. Bananas are naturally rich in potassium. That's the big one. Potassium is critical for proper muscle function. It helps your muscles contract when they should and relax when the movement is over. It's like the conductor of a muscle orchestra. Without it, everything goes off beat. But the beauty of bananas is that they don't just offer potassium in isolation. They also provide small amounts of magnesium, which calms the nervous system, and vitamin B6, which helps convert food into usable energy at the cellular level. All of this supports more stable muscle activity. And unlike many supplements or processed foods, bananas don't contain artificial additives. No preservatives, no synthetic flavoring. They're just fruit. Simple, whole, and incredibly effective. Let's talk about the American diet for a moment. It's no secret that many Americans don't get enough potassium. In fact, potassium deficiency is one of the most common nutrient gaps in the country. Why? Because the modern diet has become overloaded with processed snacks, salty packaged meals, and low-nutrient carbs that don't support muscle health. Meanwhile, bananas sit on grocery store shelves, often under $1 per pound, waiting to be noticed. This makes them a budget-friendly, low-effort solution to a problem that causes so much discomfort. Let me share a real-life story with you. This is Bob, a retired construction worker from Ohio. He's 78 now, and still likes to garden and work on small home projects. But last year, he started getting nighttime leg cramps, so intense that he'd jolt awake, yelling in pain. It scared his wife, disrupted his sleep, and left him limping in the morning. Bob's doctor suggested he check his diet. Turns out, Bob rarely ate fruit. He didn't dislike it, he just didn't think it mattered much. After some blood work, showed low potassium levels. He was advised to try adding bananas into his daily routine. So every afternoon, around 2 or 3, Bob started eating one banana as a snack. That was it. No pills, no powders, just a banana. Within a week, the cramps became less frequent. After 3 weeks, they were rare. And when they did show up, they were milder, more manageable. Bob said it was the simplest change he'd made to his health in years, and one of the most effective. What makes bananas so helpful isn't just the minerals, it's the way they're absorbed. The body processes potassium from food much more smoothly than it does from supplements. A pill might give you a large dose all at once, but that can sometimes overwhelm your kidneys or cause stomach discomfort. Bananas, on the other hand, provide a slow, even release. Their natural sugars give you a bit of energy, while the fiber helps digestion. This makes bananas especially good in the afternoon or evening, when cramps tend to strike hardest. Bananas are also incredibly versatile. Slice one onto a bowl of oatmeal in the morning. Blend one into a smoothie with yogurt and peanut butter. Eat one plain with a handful of nuts. Bake them into healthy muffins. You can even freeze them and blend them into a creamy, ice cream-like treat for dessert. For seniors who struggle with chewing, bananas are soft and easy to eat. For those watching their blood pressure, the potassium helps counterbalance the effects of sodium in the diet. And for anyone trying to eat better without cooking complicated meals, bananas are a grab-and-go win. There's also a psychological benefit here. Sometimes, making a lifestyle change feels overwhelming, especially as we age. New diets, new schedules, new habits, it can all feel like too much. But adding a banana that doesn't feel like a burden, it feels doable. And when something is doable, it becomes sustainable. You don't need a nutrition degree to know what a banana looks like. You don't need a recipe to eat it. And you don't need to be perfect in every other area of your diet to see results. Just start with one banana a day. Then notice how your legs feel at night. Notice how you move through your day with less tension, less fear of that sharp stab of pain. The science backs it too. research published and respected. Medical journals shows a clear link between potassium-rich diets and reduced incidence of muscle cramps in older adults. In fact, some studies suggest that when potassium intake increases, not only do cramps decrease, but overall mobility improves as well. That's because your muscles start firing more efficiently. Recovery speeds up, and daily tasks, walking, climbing stairs, standing up from a chair start to feel less like challenges and more like routine movements again. There's also evidence that bananas may support better hydration, especially when paired with water. The natural sugars in bananas help the body absorb fluids more effectively, which is important because dehydration is another major cause of muscle cramps. Here's a tip: after physical activity or during hot weather, have a banana and a glass of water. This combination replenishes both fluids and electrolytes in a way that sports drinks try to mimic, but without the artificial coloring, additives, or excess sugar. And let's not forget the emotional comfort bananas can provide. Sometimes, the small act of choosing a healthy food can remind us that we still have power over our bodies, that even in older age, even with health concerns, we are not helpless. We can still make choices, small ones, consistent ones that shift the direction of our health. So if you've been struggling with cramps that disrupt your nights or limit your movement during the day, consider this simple ritual. Add a banana, let it be part of your afternoon pause or your evening wind down. It's not just about the fruit, it's about the habit, because a banana a day might not sound like a cure, but for many seniors, it's the beginning of relief, the start of steadier steps, of calmer nights, of a stronger body that feels just a little more like it used to, and that's something worth reaching for. In our next chapter, we'll explore a food that's often overlooked, one that's rich in omega-3 fatty acids and helps not only your muscles but also your brain and joints. If you've never considered fish to be part of your cramp-fighting arsenal, you'll want to hear what's coming next. If you've ever dealt with stiff joints, muscle cramps, or just general soreness that lingers long after a short walk, you're not alone. For many seniors, even simple activities like walking upstairs or standing after sitting for a while can become uncomfortable. While we've already looked at two powerful food allies, eggs and bananas, there's a third player that doesn't just help with muscles, but also targets the deeper root of chronic pain and cramping. Salmon. Salmon is one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, and when it comes to leg cramps, its benefits go far beyond protein. The star of the show here is omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats are essential for reducing inflammation in the body. Inflammation is often a silent cause of muscle stiffness and nerve irritation that leads to cramping. Think of inflammation as the heat that builds up inside joints and muscles, not always visible, but very much felt. Here's what makes omega-3s so powerful. They help lower the production of molecules and substances linked to inflammation, such as inflammatory cytokines. For seniors who experience cramping or swelling, especially in the legs, this anti-inflammatory effect can make a world of difference. Less inflammation means less pressure on nerves, better blood flow to the muscles, and a lower chance of sudden, painful spasms. Now let's get into why salmon specifically is so beneficial. First, it's one of the richest natural sources of long-chain omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA. These compounds are found in the membranes of every cell in your body, but they're particularly concentrated in the muscles, brain, and heart. When you eat salmon regularly, these fatty acids build up in your tissues, creating a buffer against inflammation and improving muscle cell function. Second, salmon provides a strong dose of vitamin D, another critical nutrient for seniors. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium, which supports nerve signaling and muscle contraction. Low levels of vitamin D are linked to muscle weakness and increased risk of falls, both of which are dangerous for older adults. In fact, many people who suffer from chronic cramps are unknowingly deficient in this vitamin. Third, salmon is a great source of B vitamins, especially B12 and B6. These vitamins play a role in nerve health and energy production. A lack of B12, in particular, can cause nerve damage and contribute to the tingling or burning sensations that often precede leg cramps. Let me tell you about a woman named Darlene. She's 72, lives in northern Michigan, and used to experience frequent leg cramps in the middle of the night. At first, she thought it was dehydration. Then, she tried potassium supplements, stretching, and even hot baths, all with limited success. It wasn't until a local dietitian suggested she add salmon to her meals twice a week that things changed. Darlene began cooking salmon fillets with lemon and herbs, grilling them or baking them with a side of vegetables. Within a month, she noticed her legs felt looser, the cramps became less frequent, and, eventually, disappeared altogether. She also said her energy improved and she felt less foggy in the mornings. What happened? The combination of anti-inflammatory omega-3 muscle-supporting protein and nerve-nourishing vitamins helped her body stabilize. The salmon worked from the inside out, not just treating the symptoms, but addressing the underlying causes. Here's something else to consider. Salmon is one of the most digestible proteins, which is crucial for seniors whose digestive systems might not absorb nutrients as efficiently as they once did. It's light, easy on the stomach, and incredibly versatile. You can flake it over salads, add it to sandwiches, mix it into rice bowls, or serve it with sweet potatoes. And if fresh salmon feels too expensive or hard to find, canned salmon is a fantastic alternative. It's affordable, shelf-stable, and still rich in all the same nutrients. Just be sure to choose versions packed in water rather than oil, and look for options with lower sodium. Now, you might be wondering, isn't fish high in mercury? Isn't that dangerous? That's a fair question. But salmon, especially wild-caught varieties, is considered one of the safest fish when it comes to mercury content. Organizations like the FDA and the American Heart Association have consistently recommended salmon for older adults, because the health benefits far outweigh any minor risk. For seniors looking to prevent leg cramps and improve mobility, I recommend pairing salmon with foods high in magnesium and fiber. Try a plate with grilled salmon, steamed spinach, and quinoa, or a salmon salad with avocado and beans. These combinations amplify the anti-cramp effects by covering multiple nutrient bases in one meal. And let's not overlook the mental health boost. Studies have found that omega-3s intake is linked to lower rates of depression and cognitive decline. That means when you're eating salmon to help your legs, you're also protecting your brain and mood. It's like getting multiple medications in a single delicious meal. We're talking about a food that fights inflammation, strengthens muscle, fibers, soothes nerves, improves circulation, and supports joint function, all in one. That's why I call salmon a triple threat food. It's not just about muscle cramps. It's about feeling lighter, moving easier, and living with more confidence in your own body. One more tip before we wrap up: always cook salmon in a way that preserves its nutrients. Grilling, baking, or steaming are best. Avoid frying it in heavy oils or drowning it in salty sauces. Let the natural flavor of the fish shine, and enhance it with lemon, dill, garlic, or a touch of olive oil. Your body will thank you. So, if you haven't already, consider adding salmon to your weekly menu. Whether you're making dinner for yourself or cooking for your loved ones, it's a smart, delicious way to invest in your health and keep those painful cramps from stealing your peace. Next up, we'll wrap everything together. In our final chapter, we'll review what we've learned, offer practical advice for your daily routine, and help you turn this knowledge into long-term relief and strength. Let's take a breath together. We've covered a lot so far, and if you've stayed with me until now, I truly thank you. You care about your health or the health of someone you love, and that's what this is all about. Using food as a tool, not just for nourishment, but for freedom. Freedom from pain. Freedom from waking up in the middle of the night with leg cramps. Freedom to move again, to walk around the block, to play with your grandkids, or even just to get out of bed without wincing. Let's revisit what we've learned, not as a summary, but as a reminder of what's possible when we give our bodies the right fuel. We started with the truth many seniors know all too well. Leg cramps are more than an annoyance. They steal rest, mobility, and confidence. They can strike when you're lying down, in the middle of a walk, or even when reaching for something on a high shelf. For many, the pain feels sharp, sudden, and out of their control. But as we've seen, it doesn't have to stay that way. Such a humble, everyday food turned out to be a nutritional powerhouse. Not just protein, but choline and vitamin D. These nutrients support the very functions that help your muscles contract and relax smoothly. One simple egg in the morning isn't just breakfast. It's a step towards stability. Then we turned to bananas. Sweet, soft, and packed with potassium. But it wasn't just potassium that made the difference. The natural sugar, fiber, and magnesium worked together to support hydration, nerve function, and energy production. Bananas are like nature's multivitamin, perfectly packaged for people who may struggle with chewing or digestion. And then came salmon, rich in omega-3s, vitamin D, and B vitamins. Salmon isn't just for the heart, it's for the muscles, it's for the joints. It's for the nerves that send messages from your brain to your toes. Eating salmon regularly creates a protective layer inside your body, fighting inflammation and nourishing the systems that keep you moving. What ties these three foods together isn't just the nutrients they provide, it's the way they work with the body's natural rhythms. They're not miracle cures, they're allies. They don't just cover up the problem, they help solve it from the inside out. So what's the next step? Here's what I want you to do. Go to your kitchen, look around. What's missing? What's already there that you can start using better? Maybe you've got a carton of eggs in the fridge right now. Great. Start tomorrow with a boiled or scrambled egg. Maybe there's a banana in the fruit bowl. Even better. Have it as a mid-morning snack. Or maybe you're ready to try salmon. Add it to your grocery list. Buy a small fillet or a can and give it a chance. Start small, one meal at a time. Change doesn't have to mean giving up everything you love. It's about adding what's good, what's healing, and what helps you feel strong. Combine these foods with simple habits. Stay hydrated, stretch your legs every day, and don't ignore your body when it whispers to you. Because if you listen early, you might prevent it from having to scream later. And remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about progress. If you forget to eat right one day, or the cramps still come back sometimes, don't give up. Healing isn't a straight line. It's a journey, one that's worth taking. Before we end, I want to tell you something personal. Every piece of this monologue is grounded in science, but it's also built from real lives. People I've met, seniors who felt trapped by their bodies, but who found hope in simple changes, like the man who started eating eggs instead of sugary cereal and began walking every morning again, or the woman who replaced her afternoon cookie with a banana and stopped waking up in pain, or the couple who cooked salmon every Sunday, not just for their health, but to spend time together. These stories are real, and yours can be too. If you're feeling overwhelmed, just remember this: your body wants to heal. It's not working against you. It's waiting for your help. And with every bite of the right food, every healthy choice you make, you're giving it exactly what it needs to do its job. You're never too old to feel better. So here's my final advice. Choose nourishment, choose movement, choose hope. Leg cramps don't define you. Your choices do. And if this video helped you, if even one thing I shared made sense to you, then please, give this a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with a friend or a family member who might need it, because knowledge is power, but only when we pass it on. Thank you for spending your time with me. I'm rooting for you, always.